Okay, so you're here with us because you want to, like, really know what's going on, right?
Yeah, cut through the noise.
Get to the essentials.
And so today, we're going to try to do exactly that by taking a deep dive into something that you've probably seen in the headlines.
Definitely.
The Department of Government Efficiency,
Mm-hmm.
or as it's come to be known as...
DOGE.
DOGE.
DOGE, yeah. So to really, like, wrap our heads around this whole DOGE thing,
Yeah.
you've pulled together some really fascinating articles from some interesting sources.
Yeah.
Fortune, the Economic Times, and MarketWatch.
Mm-hmm.
And each of these offers kind of a different angle on this whole new government initiative.
Yeah, and that's really, I think, our mission today, is to kind of navigate these different perspectives and really get a grasp on, like, what is DOGE? What are they trying to do?
What are they doing?
What are they doing? How are they doing it?
What kind of friction are they encountering?
Exactly. Like, what is all the pushback?
Yeah.
And then bigger picture, like, what are the implications?
Yeah. What are the implications of all of this?
Exactly.
So to start, like, where did this whole Department of Government Efficiency, like, where did this even come from?
So according to all of our sources, it seems like DOGE was formed earlier this year.
Okay.
In 2025, through a collaboration between President Trump and Elon Musk.
Right.
And the idea was to basically downsize the federal workforce and eliminate what they deemed unnecessary government spending.
I mean, obviously Musk is involved in this whole thing, but it's more than just like an advisory role, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's really taken a hands-on approach.
Yeah.
He's appointed as a special government employee to actually lead DOGE.
Okay.
And his term is currently set for 130 days, which would put his departure sometime in May.
Wow.
So it's a really compressed timeline to try and, like...
That's a very short amount of time to make any kind of real change.
Yeah, to make any kind of significant change.
And it's not small change that they're going for, right?
No, it's huge.
It's a huge financial target.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Musk has very publicly stated his goal, which is to reduce the federal deficit by $1 trillion.
$1 trillion with a T.
Yes.
Wow.
And he believes that this can be accomplished by cutting overall federal spending by about 15%.
15%.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
So, okay, what have they actually, like, what actions are they taking
to
get to this reduction?
So the reports detail a few key strategies that they're using.
Okay.
The primary one seems to be reducing the size of the federal workforce through layoffs.
Oh, okay.
They're also really actively pursuing the sale of government-owned assets.
Okay.
And they're canceling a lot of existing contracts that they deem wasteful.
I see.
Yeah.
And they're already saying that they've saved a bunch of money.
Yes.
Right.
They are.
Like the numbers that we've seen are big?
Yes. So the Economic Times reported that DOGE estimates that they've already saved U.S. taxpayers $115 billion as of March 24th.
Wow.
Through these various measures. And Musk himself has actually gone as far as to say that they're averaging around $4 billion in savings.
A day.
Per day.
$4 billion a day.
Yes.
That's wild.
It's a huge number.
And he's confident that these cuts can be made without, like, negatively impacting...
essential services.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his position.
That's what he's saying.
He says that a 15% reduction in spending is achievable without compromising critical government programs.
So then the question becomes, like, what's critical?
Right. What are they considering critical?
Yeah, exactly.
And what's maybe not so critical.
Right.
In their view.
And this is where I think we start to see some of those contrasting viewpoints, right?
Absolutely.
Like, especially from that MarketWatch article.
Yeah.
They kind of offer a different perspective on federal spending overall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we're hearing from Musk and the administration, all about these significant spending reductions.
Right.
But then MarketWatch is presenting data that indicates that the U.S. Treasury is actually on pace to spend 7.4% more in 2025 compared to last year.
So is it just that, like, okay, they're making cuts in certain places,
right,
but overall spending is still going up?
Potentially.
Or is it that these different reports are looking at different, like...
pockets.
Yeah, pockets of federal spending?
Yeah, I mean, it really highlights the complexity of government budgeting.
Right.
Cuts in one area don't automatically translate to an overall reduction.
If other spending is going up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, it begs the question of, what are the broader economic and political factors at play.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I mean, they've definitely gotten a lot of pushback, though, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
We've seen a lot of negative press.
A lot of criticism.
And criticism.
Yeah, from both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, it seems like there's been kind of a shift in their PR strategy
I think
as a result.
Yeah. One former Republican representative even called it a rehab tour.
Oh, wow.
Musk even went on Fox News with several members of the DOGE team.
Oh, really? What was the message there?
It seemed like they were trying to project an image of carefulness.
Okay.
They were emphasizing this measure twice, cut once philosophy.
Uh-huh.
And they were really stressing their commitment to treating everyone with dignity and respect.
I mean, that's different than some of the things that we've heard, from certain people about federal workers in the past, right?
It really is, yeah.
Like, remember that whole pulse check email comment?
Yeah.
Basically questioning, like, how much federal employees were even working.
Right, their productivity and responsiveness.
And then there was that whole thing on social media.
Oh, yeah.
That I think was deleted.
It was.
Where there was a comparison between public sector workers
and deaths under totalitarian regimes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty extreme.
It was a pretty wild comparison that I don't think landed very well.
And then we also have that quote from the OMB director, Russell Vought, talking about wanting bureaucrats to be traumatically affected by these changes. Like, that's a pretty different message than dignity and respect.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder about, how much of this PR messaging is genuine.
Right. Is it just for show?
Yeah, and what are the actual, internal motivations behind all of this?
And it hasn't been a perfect rollout, has it?
No, not at all.
Like, if there have been some mistakes along the way.
Yeah, I mean, when you're undertaking such a huge and rapid overhaul,
right,
there are bound to be some hiccups.
But some of these seem pretty big.
Yeah. So, for example, there were reports of employees working in, really sensitive areas being mistakenly terminated.
Like, what kind of areas are we talking about?
Well, like the nation's nuclear stockpile.
Oh, wow.
And the bird flu response.
Okay. Yeah. Those are not areas where you can afford to have mistakes.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
These errors obviously had to be quickly rectified.
Of course.
But, it raises questions about how thorough they're being.
About their process.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it wasn't just personnel issues either.
No, there were some pretty big accounting errors, too.
Oh, really? Like what?
So they had this wall of receipts that they were using to show all the money they were saving.
Oh, yeah. I saw pictures of that.
Yeah. And apparently there were some pretty glaring errors.
Like what kind of errors?
Well, for instance, an $8 million contract was listed as $8 billion.
Oh, wow.
And a $655 million U.S.-eyed contract was counted 3 times.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. It really undermines their credibility.
Yeah, for sure.
When you see mistakes like that.
And then on top of that, there was the accidental cancellation of Ebola prevention efforts.
Right, which thankfully was also reversed.
Okay, good.
But the fact that it happened at all is a little concerning.
That could have been a major problem.
It could have, yeah.
I mean, it seems like they're facing a lot of legal challenges because of all of this, too.
Yes. The reports mentioned dozens of lawsuits that had been filed against DOGE, challenging their authority, their access to confidential information, and their compliance with open records requests.
It sounds like people want more transparency.
Yeah, they want to know what's going on behind closed doors.
And they haven't necessarily been winning these legal battles, have they?
Not all of them, no.
Like, there was a pretty big ruling, wasn't there?
There was, yeah. A federal judge actually ruled that DOGE likely exceeded its constitutional authority in its actions to dismantle USA.
Okay. That's a pretty significant blow.
It is, yeah. It raises questions about the limits of DOGE's power.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And it seems like this whole thing has created quite a backlash.
Absolutely.
Not just legally, but politically, too.
Yeah, and even affecting Musk's other companies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's been protests.
Okay.
And even some vandalism targeting Tesla vehicles.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
So they're making that connection.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even some Republican lawmakers have expressed concerns about potential changes to Social Security.
So it's not just coming from, the opposite side of the aisle.
No, it's coming from within the party as well.
It seems like maybe the administration is trying to distance DOGE from Musk a little bit.
It does seem that way, yeah.
Yeah.
Case Myers from Virginia Tech suggested that they're trying to present DOGE as a broader government initiative.
Not just a Musk thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially given how polarizing Musk can be.
Right.
Yeah.
There's been some pretty harsh criticism coming from groups like Accountable U.S.
Yeah, Tony Clark from Accountable U.S. had some pretty strong words.
Like what?
He basically said that DOGE is designed to benefit the people involved at the expense of everyday Americans. And he's worried about the negative impact on essential services like Social Security and national parks.
So he's basically saying that DOGE is making things worse.
For a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
That's his argument.
I mean, we've talked a lot about Musk, but it's not just him, right?
No, definitely.
Like, who else is involved in this? Well, that Fox News interview featured a bunch of other people on the DOGE team.
Okay.
Steve Davis, Joe Gebbia.
Joe Gebbia from Airbnb.
Yeah, the co-founder of Airbnb.
Wow.
Ara Mogadassi, Brad Smith, Anthony Armstrong, Tom Kraus, and Tyler Hassan.
It's like a who's who of tech and business.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to show that they have a lot of experience on their side.
And did any of them say anything interesting?
Yeah, Joe Gebbia actually said that DOGE is aiming to create an Apple Store-like experience.
Like in government?
Yeah.
I wonder what that even means.
I know.
Like easier to use?
Maybe.
More high-tech?
Possibly.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
What about anyone else?
Tom Kraus was talking about the national debt.
Okay.
And how we can't just keep kicking the can down the road.
Right.
We'd be responsible to future generations.
It sounds like that's a big part of their justification for all these cuts.
Yeah, it's definitely a central argument.
Then what about Anthony Armstrong?
He talked about how there's a lot of wasted money in the government.
Right.
Duplication of effort, overstaffing.
Yeah.
He said there's money sloshing out the door.
So their goal is to, like, tighten things up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he also mentioned that they're trying to be compassionate
Okay.
with the workforce reductions.
Like how?
Well, he mentioned programs like deferred resignation
I see.
to try and ease the transition for people who are losing their jobs.
So, I mean, when you take all of this together, it's a pretty complicated situation.
It really is.
I mean, we have these really ambitious goals, and they're saying that they're making progress.
Right.
But then there's all this controversy.
And mistakes.
Yeah, and it seems like people have really different opinions about whether this is a good thing or a bad thing.
Exactly. And, you know, these reports that we've looked at, they just give us a snapshot
Yeah.
of a really dynamic and debated initiative.
It's interesting to think about how this will all play out.
Yeah. And what kind of lasting impact DOGE will have.
So now we turn to you. What do you think?
Yeah. Based on what we've discussed, what do you see as like the potential benefits and risks of such a large-scale government overhaul?
And how do you think these different perspectives that we've talked about
Right.
will shape how we view DOGE in the future?
What's its legacy going to be?
Yeah,